Well, hello there, everyone. Today is Sunday, August the 14th, year 2022. Hopefully, you're doing outstanding on this Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you watch it in the future. Anyway, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, not a CPA, not an attorney, nothing like that. I'm just Maskey Finance. I watched a video a little while ago, and I've been thinking on this topic about myself and a variation of it. But I watched One Rental at a Time's interview or talk with Dion Talks. And it's about when do you take Social Security? Age 62, age 67, age 70, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My mindset has always been if it's still around when I'm that age, I'll take it as soon as I can take it. Okay? But at the same time, my mind says this it may not be here, it'll be reduced from what it is now. And also, my mind says odds are I'm not going to need it at all. It'll be a small amount. I stopped working full time around age 50-ish. Yeah, around at age 50 and 6 months, I think it was. So it's not going to be a lot. It'll be something, but not be a lot. But by that time of my life, I shouldn't need it. I still might take it because then I can add to how I help society out in some fashion. Okay? So all of us need to be in that position where we do not need it. Younger people than me will say, it's not going to be around when I'm older. Okay? My generation said that when we were younger. When I was in my 20s, early 20s, so many people are saying, Social Security won't be around when I'm that old, but it's still here. But they're going to cut it at some point. Some politician will get criticized for doing it, but they need to cut it benefits in some fashion and or raise the age because it's not going to last. There's no way it's going to last. So anyway, with that being said, I've thought about with my pension. Where I worked as a police officer, full retirement was considered, and I say full retirement, was considered 25 years of employment at age 50. When I was age 50 years and 6 months, I had 24 years of employment. I left employment at that time, so it's considered early because it wasn't full retirement. I had people talk to me, coworkers, like, stick it out for another year, man. You get another year of a paycheck. Your pension is going to be more. It's like my friend Dom. He's a teacher. I think he said he has like 2 years to go to get the full pension. Dom, you could die next week. You could die next year. I know you're passionate about your job. You love being a teacher, but you don't need it. Is the pension really worth it? I don't know. In my case, and I've said this before in my video, I just got something like a $75 pay raise on my pension. I think in my August check or July check, whatever it was. Something like that, $75, $80, something like that. How much is inflation right now? you know, if I was living just on my pension, my purchasing power is getting worse every year. That's why when you have seniors say they're on a fixed income, odds are every year it gets harder and harder for them to live. Okay? So if any of my former coworkers are watching this, guys, gals, you need to start investing. You can't count on, number one, I've said this from day one. How do I know the state of Virginia is not going to go bankrupt? How do I know they're not going to cut my pension benefits? Oh, they won't do that. Yeah, baloney. If they need to cut something, they feel they need to cut it, they'll cut it. Look at Detroit. They've cut benefits for fire and police and teachers, et cetera, et cetera. Same for Chicago. Dom, you said you get a real big pension at that in a couple of years. They might cut benefits. You get more Section 8 tenants. They're draining all the resources. They can cut benefits. So for all of us, if you're counting on that golden parachute, you're counting on that pension, you're counting off living off your 401k because you have $500,000 saved up or you have $1 million saved up. Well, by golly, I'm going to encourage you to start buying investment property, real estate. I read an article this morning and it was talking about investing. And financial planners were saying the best way to invest is in stocks. And they brought up, later in the article, they brought up real estate. And they said real estate is too complicated for most people. If you want to go that route, they said buy some ETFs that are real estate related. Something like that. That's what I think they said. Or they said stocks, I think, that are real estate related. They didn't give examples. Real estate's too complicated. Really. People complicate things. So in real estate, that's the complicated part. The people, the tenants, right? But it's not, I've said this from day one, it's not rocket science to buy real estate. It's basic math to run the numbers. If it's complicated to you, study basic math. It's not hard. You run the numbers, you have to have positive cash flow. That's mandatory. It's number one. You gotta have positive cash flow, because if you don't, you're losing money. And you can't count on that it's going to appreciate and you're going to make money no matter what market you live in. So you got to have positive cash flow. But going back, if you have that 401k, Zuber has said this before, he had a 401k, he would use it to borrow money from to buy real estate. We did that with my wife's 401k. We took a loan, no penalties, to buy a bird project. And then we repaid it. And when we had to repay it from her paycheck, we paid interest into the 401k. So it increased the value of it. Now that we both took early retirement, we have drained down that 401k to buy assets that pay cash, such as rental property, such as mineral rights acreage, such as, not really, we didn't use it for the oil drilling adventure. Mineral rights acreage, we've used it for that, and we've used it to pay cash on 2 different houses, okay? Because real estate is better than a 401k. If you're 22 years old and you're starting to put money into your company 401k, sure, put it in for the company match. Don't put more in it than that. If you're in the military and you got the TSP, put in for whatever the match is. Don't put in more than that. That's just my humble opinion. But use the excess to invest in real estate, because real estate is different than stocks. Stocks, for the most part, you need to sell to pull the money out. You can have dividend paying stocks and they might average 4% maybe, 3%, 5%. You might have someone pay 6, 7, 8%. But then you can just take the dividends out and keep the principal. But you got to have a big pot of money to take enough in dividends out to live off of. Okay? With stocks, if you need to sell your stocks to live off of them, you need to have a big pot of money, bigger than what you think, because you may live longer than what you think, and you don't want to run out of money when you get older. But if you have rental property, as long as you buy smartly, not using rocket science, just using what you got up here, buy intelligently, sure, you might have a pocket in the country where it does poorly, but by and large, there's rental property everywhere, all around the world, everywhere. So if you can get something that's positive cash flow, and that's key, don't count on appreciation, positive cash flow. So as long as it's not an area where rents drop, which can happen if factories close down, a military base close down, people start leaving a lot, maybe rents will drop, okay? But for the most part, rents will slowly go up over time. And from day one, if you're 22 years old and you buy that first house, you get positive cash flow. Darius, he's been on my channel. He's in his early 20s. He's getting positive cash flow. Millennial Mike is in his early 30s. He's getting positive cash flow. My kids, they're in their 20s. They're getting positive cash flow. My buddy Will, he's getting positive cash flow. Any one of you who buy rental property will get that positive cash flow. And you're going to have hiccups over time. You're going to have stumbles. You're going to get kicked. You're going to get knocked down. But as long as you get positive cash flow, and then if you're beginning, you may have trouble with 2 out of your 4 houses or 3 out of your 4 houses. You got to suck it up. Pull the belt tighter. Get those people out, those tenants out. Repair anything that needs to be repaired. And then get rent in. And then you got more positive cash flow. Okay? And as you grow, there will always be some issue. Okay? So with some tenant, some house, there will always be something. But the larger you get, statistically, it's a percentage. It'll be a lower percentage. If you have 2 houses and you got a problem with 1, that's half of your rent. Okay? Now, if you have 4 houses and you have a problem with 3, that's 75% of your rent. But if you get 10 houses, you're probably not going to have problems with 7. Okay, you still might have problems with 3 or 4, but not all 7 or 8. The more you get, the safer it is. Okay, in my opinion. And if you do like I do, this is not mandatory, I'm not telling you to do this, but if you do like I do and you diversify just a bit and you branch off into mineral rights, acreage, oil drilling, as long as you do your due diligence and you understand what you're doing, then perhaps it's an option for you. Okay, perhaps. I personally like that investment. I've had April Crossley on my channel, Invest Like a Girl. Watch her video if you haven't. And she started off with real estate, and she still invests in real estate, but she's branched out into syndications. And she likes syndications. A lot of real estate investors will say they don't like syndications. She likes them. No investment is perfect for everyone. I've said that on my channel before too. Some of you out there will never buy real estate. You'll stick with stocks. That's fine. Anything is better than nothing. You got to have something. Anything is better than nothing. But going back real quick, and I'll wrap this up. That pension, that 401k, Social Security, etc. If that's all you're counting on when you get older, you're probably going to struggle at times. Okay. Now, if you're frugal and your house is paid off and maybe you'll be okay. But I encourage you, think outside the box. Be a contrarian investor. The majority of people don't buy real estate. Be one of the minority and start buying it. Okay? All right, I got to wrap this up. I got to run. We're taking a little trip this afternoon, and then I got a friend stopping by this evening. We might, as long as the weather cooperates, we will hang out under my tiki hut for a bit. All right, y'all take care. Stay safe in all you do. Mazske is signing out.